Readiness is the quiet one, the fit dimension most coaches underweight, and the one that decides whether the tool actually lands. How often have you had the right tool at the right time for the right purpose, and it still fell flat? The session felt off. The client went through the motions, gave you the words the tool asked for, but there was no energy in it. The output didn't hold. You couldn't quite name what went wrong. The missing dimension was almost always readiness. That's what this video is about, the fourth check, and why it's the one most coaches consistently underweight. Readiness has a specific meaning here. It's not asking whether the client is motivated. It's a narrower question. Is this client able to use what this particular tool asks of them right now? 3 tracks on screen: emotional, cognitive, relational. Emotional. Can they engage without flooding or shutting down? Some tools ask clients into demanding territory. If they're already near capacity, the tool overwhelms rather than serves. Cognitive. Can they hold the complexity this tool requires? Relational. Is there enough trust for what this tool asks of the relationship? All 3 matter. Readiness is dynamic. That's what coaches often underestimate until they track it explicitly. It changes session to session, sometimes within a session. A client who wasn't ready for a deep self-assessment last week may be exactly ready this week. Something shifted in how they're carrying the work, in a conversation they had outside sessions, and a client who passed every readiness check last month may need you to wait today. They walked in after a hard interaction, or something surfaced mid-session that changed the ground. Readiness isn't a stable property of the person. It's a condition of the moment. Here's the hard case. You've run the 4 dimensions. Purpose passes, format passes, time passes. The tool fits everything you can measure quickly, and the client is flooded. Something is moving through them that hasn't found form yet. You can see it in the pauses, in the flatness, or the heat. Set the tool aside. Return when the client's ground is firmer. A structurally perfect tool offered into a flooded moment doesn't land. It interrupts. And the interruption costs something harder to rebuild than a missed selection. Your clients trust that you can hold what's real. You already have the skills to read this. The weight signals from Module 2 are readiness data. Fresh emotion. The client is in the middle of something alive and unresolved. Recently surfaced insight. They just arrived at an understanding and need to be with it, not structure it yet. Fragile trust. The relationship is still building, and this tool asks more than it can hold right now. Any of those signals says, stay with what's alive. Don't reach for structure yet. Reading readiness isn't a new skill. It's applying the presence work from Module 2 to the tool question. Pushing a tool because it's the plan, because you committed to it in prep, is not thoroughness. It's a failure to hold presence, and it costs trust. Not dramatically, not in a way the client will name, but they'll carry a faint sense that the work was organized around the coach's agenda rather than theirs. That accumulates. Holding readiness as a real check is a form of care. The tool serves the client. The client doesn't serve the tool. When you run the 4-dimension filter, treat readiness last and give it full weight. Not because it's least important, it's often the most important, but because it's context dependent and needs to be checked close to the moment, not just in pre-session planning. Purpose, format, and time are relatively stable. Readiness lives in the room, in what the client brings through the door that day. It can shift while you're working. Readiness is the quiet dimension, right until a flat session makes it loud.